I hear you saying Mo. So I found all these ways of filtering. And I know how to filter against lists. I know how to filter between values with between and. We can do ranges. We can do lists. We can do all kinds of different stuff. I know I'm a master at and, or, and not, and all of these different utilities that we've learned, different ways of filtering. But Mo, what if I don't exactly know what I'm looking for? Well, SQL gives you the ability to do partial lookups. If you don't know exactly what you're searching for, partial lookups help you figure out, hey, it may be something along these lines. It may be something that looks like this. So, SQL gives you the like keyword. The like keyword works as follows. Select first name from employees, where the first name is like M and then the percentage sign. So that means get everyone whose name starts with M. Oh, that makes sense. So we're doing a partial match. We're saying like M, so the string, the piece of text, has to start with M. And then the percentage sign is telling us anything after that. So get everyone whose name starts with M. Pattern matching is what we call this. In order to use the like keyword, you need to build patterns to match. You need to build those patterns in order to establish what exactly you're looking for. You see in the previous slide, we said M percentage sign. So we're saying start with M, and then anything after that, match it. So what kind of patterns can we match? Well, pattern matching happens with wildcards. Well, what is a wildcard? Well, a wildcard is a placeholder that we can put in a like operator to match parts of strings. So we saw the percentage sign, and the percentage sign means any number of characters. Remember when we saw M percentage sign? Well, that means any number of characters following M. Then we have the underscore, which means one character. If you want to match one character after, you could do M underscore, which would find Mo, because that's 2 letters. So it would only find M with one extra character. Percentage sign would find M with any given number of characters. So what kind of patterns can we match against? Well, let's look at some pattern matching examples. Here we have like $2, which means anything that ends with 2. And then we have like $2. Find me fields with 2 anywhere in there. Okay, anywhere in there, what does that mean? Well, anything that has a 2 in it, in any given position. Let's find that one. And here we have like _00 percentage sign. So, stands to reason that this would mean, find us anything that has 2 zeros after the first character, and anything after the third character. Okay, what would be an example of that? Well, 2000 would be an example of that because it starts with a 2 and then there's 2 zeros and then there's a 0 at the end. 20,000 is also an example of that because 200 and then 2 zeros after. Are you starting to see how we can use this pattern matching to accomplish different types of outputs to partially match against things? Here we have like percentage sign 200 percentage sign, which means find us fields with 200 anywhere in the value. Next up is like 2 underscore percentage sign underscore percentage sign. So that finds any value that starts with a 2 and are at least 3 characters in length. Interesting. How does that work? Well, we have a 2 here, and then we're saying, well, we want at least 1 character after, and then anything can come in between. But then we want another character at least after that. And then anything can come after that. So it means, well, it has to start with a 2, and it has to have at least 2 more characters for sure, and anything can kind of fall in between. But we want it to be at least 3 in length. And then we have like to underscore 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 underscore. It's not really clear how many underscores are here, but trust me, it finds any value with 5-digit numbers that start with 2 and end with 3. So there's 3 underscores in here. So 5-digit numbers. Starts with a 2, ends with a 3. And that's what we're aiming towards. So the underscore can be used as a placeholder to say, well, I at least want something to happen here, and I at least want something to happen here. And anything in between can come or go. I really don't care. But it can be used to say, well, it needs to have at least this at this position. So you can say, I want a name that starts with M and then put a percentage sign and put 2 underscores at the end. And you're saying the name has to be at least 3 characters in length because I have 2 underscores at the end. But anything in between can be anything. So the like keyword. Postgres only does like against text comparison. So we must cast whatever we use to text. I hear you saying, Mo, what does this mean? Let's take a step back. When we look at our database, we have a lot of different types of data. We can store dates, we can store numbers, we can even store nulls, which are very controversial. But that being said, Postgres only does the like operator against text. So when we say we must cast whatever we use to text, what we mean is that anything we're going to use in that like command, any column that we're going to use to do a partial match against, we're going to cast it to text. Now, you may be thinking, how do I cast? We haven't seen that. Well, casting is the act of changing something to something else. So changing a number to a string, changing a string to a date. And when we cast, we're basically saying, well, for us to use the like keyword, we're going to have to cast. So how do we do this? There are 2 different ways of casting. Over here, you can see that casting to text can be done with the cast keyword. You could say cast salary. Salary being a number. We know salary is a number because it comes back as 100,000, 80,000, 70,000, whatever the case, it's a number. So we say cast, and it's a function. So we use the parentheses, and we say cast the column salary as text. Or we can shorthand it, and we can say colon, colon, text. Salary, colon, colon, text. So these are 2 ways to say, okay, I know this field is something else, but make it text. And in that way, you can use it to do the like keyword. All right. Now that we know that one caveat of the like keyword, now that we know we can do partial matching with the like keyword, and now that we know all of the different ways we can use the like keyword, let's look at I like. Now, I'm not saying I like. It's an actual keyword. It's not like I like candy. It's stupid joke. It's a different way of using the like keyword, and it is case insensitive matching. Now, you may be asking yourself, Mo, we haven't even done an exercise on like yet. Trust me, there are enough exercises to go around, but it is important that we know that we have these 2 keywords. Now, like is used for partial matching. And as you saw, you can partial match against multiple different things. But that doesn't account for the case where you have to take into account, hey, this may be uppercase, this may be lowercase, what shape is my data, and what kind of text am I working with? You see, you could fill in a name into a database and uppercase the first letter and lowercase the last letter, but depending on who's input the data, they may make typos. They may accidentally uppercase, lowercase, and depending on how the data is stored, this may make it hard for you to do a matching operation. So I like is just a different keyword that allows you to also do the partial matching the same exact way that like works, but it does case insensitive matching. So no matter what kind of text you're matching against, it's going to match whether Mo is uppercase, Mo is lowercase, it doesn't really matter. It's going to match all of those. So you don't have to do complicated things there. So let's take a look at how that works. Here we are in the employees database. And over here, we can see that we have all of our data from all of our users. And we're selecting star from employees. Now, let's take a look at how we would use like. Well, let's say someone came to us and they wanted to find users whose name started with G. So let's do that. Where first name, like, and then let's say G. And we learned that the percentage sign is the one that we need to use to match anything after. So let's look at what that looks like. Awesome. Awesome. So we can see here that we found thousands and thousands of employees whose names start with G. Okay, let's go one step further. Let's say their name has to end with an R. Let's do R, because we can see that the strings go from uppercase to lowercase. And here we can see we've still found hundreds and hundreds of employees. Okay, so now let's say that it needs to be ER. And now you can see we're starting to filter more and more down. So if we said, well, it has to be G and it has to end with GER, we can start filtering down our list and filtering down our list as we go. Okay, now let's say for some reason the name was misspelled, right? Let's say that this was GER, but it was uppercase. Well, you don't know how the data is stored. In this case, all the data is stored normally. This would be a case for I like. And you could say, well, I don't want to pay attention to uppercase, lowercase. I don't want to deal with any of that. So let me just fill it all in an uppercase and find me everything that has to do with it. Well, I like gives you that ability. Or you could say, you know what? Just fill it all in lowercase. I don't really care. The search parameters, I don't want to care about what it's uppercase or lowercase. And let's do that. And the reason we do that is because, as you can see here, if we use the like keyword and we did a lowercase g, we're not going to find anything. There's no first name, there's no last name, because it starts with uppercase G. And these are use cases for you to use like versus I like. Say, hey, if I don't know and if I don't care about case, how about I just use I like? In any case, here you can see the power of like and how we can use it to supercharge our where clause when we don't know exactly what we're trying to find, when we're trying to partial match against something. And you can combine it with many different cases. You could say, hey, I want people born in 1980 whose name starts with a G. You can build queries like this now. Yes, if your boss comes and asks you a question, you can find the answer. You can do partial matching now. You can do value mapping. You can do and or not. We're really becoming masters of this where clause. And that's what we're trying to become. Masters of filtering and masters of SQL. I'll see you in the next video.